extorsionar a los putos, a las trabas, a las amigas.
Es que también para mí eso tiene que ver con meter a los nombres de Elisa Bernasi, Betular, etcétera, es porque si vos te metés en serio con las redes de trata son como los narcos. No te metés con los narcos. Si vos te metés... Vieron que muchas veces pasa que llevan preso al dealer, a que está en la esquina. Claro, porque con eso sí te podés meter. Porque ese no es narco, es el dealer de la esquina, ¿viste? Es como meterte en una licorería de Tucumán. Bueno, será la licorería de Tucumán esa. Entonces, claro, te podés meter y hacértela. Yo protejo. En Tucumán no hay ningún... Vos te metés con la red de trata y terminás en un zanjón. Es muy probable que termines en un zanjón. Entonces, por eso es mucho más fácil meterte con gente, ¿viste? Con la Nera Bernasi, con Betular, con Flor P, etcétera, que... No va a pasar eso, por supuesto, no te estás metiendo en el tema en serio. Es como si uno de verdad quiere luchar contra las redes de trata y demás, te metés con las redes de trata. Lo que pasa es que no te metés porque, por supuesto, es re peligroso. No culpa a nadie que no se meta, ¿eh? O sea, yo tampoco capaz me metería porque me daría miedo, obvio, porque terminás en un zanjón. Como si te metés con los narcos en serio, terminás en un zanjón. Entonces también por eso es más fácil meterse, ¿viste? Ay, bueno, no, entonces tal es la red de trata que sabés que no pasa nada, ¿viste? Y que la vas a sacar medio gratis. Perdón, lo que le pasó a Natacha Haidt, que bueno, no está esclarecido lo que pasó, pero la mina ha denunciado un montón de hechos, se ve que tocó algún culo gordo, ¿y cómo terminó? Pobre mina.
De las trabas, de los putos y la gente que tenemos la libertad de vivir la vida eligiendo todo el tiempo con quién queremos.
Entonces, claro, te metés con un traba, ¿viste? Con un puto, lo que sea, que sabés, ¿viste? No pasa nada.
Estar sin necesidad del poder de turno y sin necesidad de ningún tipo de poder, más que el del amor que nos une y del cariño y del respeto que nos tenemos. Pero pienso que detrás de esto seguramente hay alguien que se está escondiendo para que hablemos, para que estemos todos hablando de esto y no hablen de ellos. Porque si no es imposible, a nadie normal, en serio, a nadie normal se le ocurriría creer que esto tiene una verdad. Entiendo que el periodismo, se tiene que ocupar de esto y replicarlo y hablar en potencial. Dejen de hablar en potencial. Tengan huevos y hablen en presente. Hablen en presente. Digan hizo, hace, díganlo así. Si tienen...
Eso va un montón. Y sí, porque con el potencial, a la gente que se ensucia... Porque con el potencial no puedes hacer nada. Vos no podés ir a la justicia, no puedes hacer nada. Porque la ley de libertad de expresión, que para mí honestamente debería como cambiar un poco, porque más que libertad de expresión es básicamente podés decir cualquier cosa. No es libertad de expresión, es libertinaje de expresión. Porque podés decir cualquier cosa con el potencial que si yo digo, puede ser que tal fuera pedófilo. Estoy hablando de potencial, me estoy cuidando, a mí no me puede hacer nada hacia alguien, pero yo hacia alguien lo estoy manchando. Posiblemente de por vida. Entonces, y el otro está en total desventaja, porque el otro no puede hacer nada, yo sí puedo decir lo que quiera, total estoy de potencial. Y la gente no percibe el potencial. El público, yo lo percibo un montón, pero también por lo que me pasó a mí. Entonces yo obviamente estoy como mucho más sensible y mucho más como que capto todas las palabras y como que yo no creo nada. Nada de lo que veo en la tele, nada de lo que veo yo creo. ¿Pero por qué no creo nada? Por lo que me pasó a mí. La mayoría de la gente no pasa por lo que yo pasé, entonces se come todo lo que ve directamente, ¿viste? Y no capta la sutileza del potencial. Y el potencial es cierto, lo toma como verdadero. Entonces es como que debería haber algo, ¿viste? Como si tenés las pruebas y todo, usar el presente, tiempo presente o tiempo pasado. Tal hizo tal cosa. Si todo tenés las pruebas. Porque el drama del juicio es cuando lo que vos estás diciendo es falso. Porque si lo que vos estás diciendo no usas el potencial, usas el tiempo verbal presente o pasado, pero presentás las pruebas, el otro no te puede hacer una difamación. Porque difamación es cuando el otro dice algo falso.
Sí, pero ¿por qué lo vendes?
De verdad huevos. Porque hablar en potencial, desde la causa, desde los medios, desde el periodismo, importante, lo único que hace es cuidarles el culo a ustedes y dejarnos expuestos a nosotros como si fuéramos delincuentes. Y los delincuentes me parece que están en otro lugar. Y quizás alguno de ustedes los tapa. Porque si no...
I'm a genius. I figured out how to make us penguins fly.
That's gonna be tricky without wings.
Exactly. That's why I've got Red Bull. It gives you wings. All we have to do is drink it.
And how?
Come on, Dad, just drink it.
But why? Why? It's 40 degrees below. Do you think we're standing here for fun? Red Bull gives you wings, but only if you drink it. I never seen no man till now.
I've placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion into the SAR-2 unit. Rebellion's built on hope.
You want to fight? Or you want to win?
We have to beat them. I believe you have purpose in making that happen. If we do not stand together, we will be crushed.
The Empire cannot win.
And the final season, streaming April 22nd, only on Disney+.
Eso sí, lo único, pero seguro que te cuesta 200.
Ahí, así para que... Bueno, no habló Suar, chicos, fuimos víctimas de una fake news. Ya voy a encontrar quién fue, y lo voy a bañar para siempre, porque eso no se hace. Eso no se hace con Concilio. Concilio no jode nada. Con este macho nadie lo pisa. Pablo Salum habló de un chabón. Yo no investigué mucho ese. Hay como todo un submundo, una subtrama de un chabón que se llama Tim Balpalan o algo así. Tim Ballard. Pablo Salum hizo un video de eso o lo vi en su Twitter, no me acuerdo, pero es muy interesante, así que vayan y véanlo. Porque habla de este chabón que supuestamente tiene como toda una agenda rari, pero no quiero hablar mucho del tema porque la verdad que como que no lo investigué tanto como para ponerme a hablar y no quiero ensuciar yo, no quiero hacer lo mismo que estoy dejando, o sea, pero vayan a ver porque él lo explica muy bien. Bueno, en fin, besos míos. Si tienen noticias que quieren que reaccionen Faranews, hilos de Twitter, TikToks virales, etcétera, me los pueden mandar a DJ Faranachorra.
Pero ¿por qué parece así?
Y voy a reaccionar.
Quiero que curiado, man.
Los amo mucho. Y que esto ha sido Faranews, noticiero Painerera, donde entras para informarte y salís más desinformado. Los amo, bellos míos. Ah, pará, ¿te dije lo del bananero? No me acuerdo. Subí video de bananero sin censurar. ¿Lo dije? ¿Lo dije o no lo dije? Al principio lo dije.
¿Qué?
Sí, lo dije. No lo dije.
Ay, boludo,
bueno,
pero...
subí a mi canal principal, Martín Sirio, video de El Bananero sin censura. Por ahora que tenía que poner pi a todo. Igualmente YouTube me lo iba, vieron, o a bajar o lo que sea, entonces dije, ¿sabes qué? Si me lo va a bajar igual, ya lo mando así sin censura y que sea lo que Dios quiera. Así que vayan a verlo mientras esté online. Los amo mucho y nos vemos mañana. Esto que dije del bananero, ponelo en el video de Viana Canosa, en alguna parte. Los amo, chicos, los amo mañana. Buen fin de y felices Pascuas. Felices Pascuas para todos. Sé que el niño Jesús no vino a...
Wow, that's amazing.
For a variety of reasons, but there's no doubt that you could say that it was a very, and it was natural selection, a great move for the right wing for propaganda. We're now at, I want you to understand that this is the hypothesis, yeah, that's how you say it. This is the hypothesis, the apotheosis, whatever the fuck the word, I pronounce the word, of the right wing. This is the utter peak. The vibes are shifting right now. I want you to understand, this is the moment the vibes shift. Quote me, link me, clip me, this is the height. Right now, today. It's all downhill from here. Donald Trump is going to, like the economy, Chad. I don't think people understand what's going on with the economy. The ships that bring the treats, they get ordered like about a month or a little bit more than a month in advance. They're all being canceled. Your treaty treats are not coming.
Puta, pero ¿por qué tira eso?
The economy is going to crash. Donald Trump has crashed the economy. And we are Wile E. Coyote running off the edge of a cliff, and the dust cloud is the only thing beneath our feet. It's already over. And so, people like Asmongold, people like Rev Says Desu, they don't see, they're incels. They don't know how the economy really works, right? They don't know how the economy actually exists. It's fucking Jover.
Featured in videos. However, like I said, over the past couple of years, he's been on a self-help journey where he's essentially called his old self bad and said he wants to be a nice guy and care about people's feelings. In doing so, he deleted the entire Content Cop series and is now trying to be a better person. In fact, even his latest target of his final Content Cop series, Leafy, is someone he apologized to essentially, despite the fact people like this not wanting any sort of an apology from him. And even in the final swan song of his social media life before he's been banned off of everything, Leafy was mocking him right to the end. But with Creator Clash 3 coming up, a major project for iDubbbz, it seems he wants to generate some attention for this event, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because Creator Clash 2 was a disaster, at least financially, where they had to fork in their own money just to meet the charitable goals of Creator Clash 2.
What happened with Creator Clash, I know more about this than other people, but they were incredibly generous to a lot of creators at the event, to the point that there was a large nut. And it was an unsustainably generous, for people to travel to the event and watch it and stuff. It was a structural mistake. It had nothing to do. The event was incredibly successful. Desu just doesn't know what they're talking about. They're a fucking idiot. A large nut, people don't. Okay, nut just means money you need to break even. Right? That's all. And it has to do with investments you make and structural decisions you make. And a lot of these things were extraneous expenses they didn't need to pay. And have nothing to do with the event in and of itself.
And I guess to accomplish that attention, he has revitalized, dug up the grave of the Content Cop series that he said he would never do again. Well, he was a hypocrite on that, and he decided to post...
Oh no, he changed his mind. First of all, he didn't apologize to... he didn't say that analyzing content was bad. You whiny little bitch. He said that the way he did it, using racial slurs, harassing people in person, being a fucking creep, being an online incel type, and being just basically a mentally stunted child, he wanted to become a man and grow up. Which you will never do. I mean, your chosen avatar is a lolly. What are you... That's just amazing.
This the other day, and people immediately started speculating, who's it gonna be about? Who's gonna be the new target of this Content Cop? There's two names in particular I heard, Asmongold and Sam Hyde. And Sam Hyde, in case you didn't know, pretty much mind broke iDubbbz a few years ago. I don't think he's ever recovered since then. And also this
Sam Hyde mind broke him. Man, isn't it weird how Rev Says Desu and all these weirdos also have the same talking points as our friend Ethan Klein? Isn't that odd? iDubbbz did not get his mind broken by Sam Hyde. Sam Hyde is a freak.
Content Cop was supposed to release on Sam Hyde's birthday, so it seems like he might have taken a very courageous stab at a guy who's very hard to go after. Well, that's not...
Why is Sam Hyde hard to go after? Why don't you elaborate on any of these points? I hate these fucking slop channels.
Instead, as you know, it's on H3, aka Ethan Klein. Now, this was an obvious choice, and as the saying goes, sometimes the obvious choice is the correct one, and that was the case here. Now, I want to make two things.
Wait, it was the correct choice. Oh, I thought it was a bad choice. I thought it was a bad choice. It was cringe and it backfired. It's the right choice now? I think you're forgetting what your title is. ...2016 iDubbbz would have made of 2025 iDubbbz. People think this is like some sort of argument that's true. First of all, even if that was true, who gives a shit? 2016 iDubbbz sucks.
Very clear before we start talking about this.
Oh, by the way, this guy... Fuck! Hey, this is Asmongold's... By the way, you have 700,000 subscribers and you got 100,000 views on this. Not very good.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. Welcome back.
I think you need to go back to your more popular videos. Your more popular videos. These are your more... this is your more...
No, déjate joder de nuevo.
Lolicon pedophile... check this motherfucker's PC.
Qué auto de mierda, man.
Number one, I am not a fan of H3. I used to enjoy his content back in the day, just like I did with iDubbbz as well, but they both changed in many different ways, and I really have no stake in this fight. I also want to make it clear, this is a pretty significant betrayal. These were two guys who clearly were pretty close friends at one time. They made content together.
Why isn't the betrayal with, like, this is the thing about, okay, as you can see, chat, I tried to listen to this shit. It's so fucking boring. There is no evidence that anything backfired. Okay, hold on. Before I close it. Ugh.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. So Tater,
I want to see the proof. Like, what's the proof that it backfired?
Not just to criticize iDubbbz, you know, and
oh, guys, Awk 20,000 says it. The Awk.
See, it's the same for. Guys, his world is crashing and burning around him, huh?
That like-dislike ratio in the comments are as brutal as they are, despite the best efforts of Hasan to boost it.
By the way, it's just not true. This guy is a YouTuber. He knows that the extensions for dislikes are not the real dislikes. The dislikes have been removed from the forward-facing YouTube. There is no way to see what the dislikes are unless you go behind the scenes. And as I tweeted earlier today, and this is very simple and straightforward to look at, the editors have posted it. It has an 85% like to dislike ratio. That's why it's going massively viral. It has 4.5 million views in one day. It's because it's overwhelmingly popularly received, even with...
No dobla la poronga esta, no dobla.
To brigade it. You failed completely. It isn't 50-50 for likes, dislikes. It's overwhelmingly liked. You just failed, bitch. But have I considered lying OP? Truth even more OP.
Of Ethan's biggest haters over the years. People who make near daily content about him, his wife, even his own kids.
None of these people are big haters of H3. That's actually just not true. That's actually just...
El que hizo este juego, man, tiene down.
Shut up! Lying is OP!
El que hizo este juego es down. Tiene síndrome down. ¿Qué? ¡Conexión interrumpida!
Every time? Not really.
Lo que me falta, man.
Again, I just want you to know, I've taken on these pathetic fucking loser cuck straight on, take their arguments on. Their arguments are false. They're lying. They're coping. People are overwhelmingly positive about the content cop. They're overwhelmingly positive about it. Period. Period.
Correte, gordo
Just the
puto.
reality, bro. Sadly, the like, dislike. Wait, what did you say? Hold on. Dislikes are winning now. I don't know why people are so dumb. No, they're not. The extension is not real. I don't know how to explain this to you, and it's other than by showing it.
No, deja. Ah, que este auto es una bosta.
How does the extension get its data? A combination of archive data from before the official YouTube dislike shutdown and extrapolated extension user behavior. That is not real. They say right there, it's not the actual dislikes. It's extrapolated by extension user behavior. It's not the dislikes. It's just a made-up.
Negro de mierda.
Understand that? So what you could say is, this is what the extension numbers show you. A made-up number derived from the extension users who go watch that video. Who the fuck is trying to install the return dislike extension? That's weirdo shit! That's drama frog shit! Why do you want to see dislikes?
Bueno.
Somebody who's overwhelmingly more likely to dislike videos.
La concha de tu madre.
This is not real.
Maldito juego.
Right now, video dislikes are cached and they aren't updated very frequently. It varies depending on a video's popularity, but can take anywhere between a few hours and a few days to update. In other words,
la concha de tu madre.
The extension collects the video ID of the video you're watching, fetches the number of dislikes and other fields like views, likes, etc. using your API. The extension that displays the dislike count and ratio on the page. If you like or dislike a video, that is recorded and sent to the database, so an accurate dislike count can be extrapolated. Do you guys know what extrapolated means? Here, let me just look it up for you. Extrapolate says extend the application of a method or conclusion,
Vamos.
especially when based on a statistic.
Me gané un auto.
To an unknown situation, by assuming that existing trends will continue or similar methods will be applicable. In other words, it's just made up bullshit. It's not the actual dislikes, because the overwhelming majority of people using YouTube do not have the dislike extension. So it's only the population of dislike extension havers that are disliking the video. Overwhelmingly, duh. Which is why the only person who could see the real number of dislikes is the video content creator. And that has been posted. 85.7% like to dislike ratio. So the actual number of dislikes, if we go and look at it, there are 296,000 likes. Let's get our calculator out. 296,000. And roughly, if we just times that by 0.15, there are 44,000 dislikes.
Ah, pero es más lenta que la poronga que tengo.
Like, this is just, it's just, they're raw, they're just pathetic. They're making shit up. And you're believing it. Don't believe this shit. Look into stuff. Look into it a little bit deeper. And like, ultimately, the only way, you know, the ultimate measure of the popularity of content is the interactions. And when we look at the content nuke, it just didn't work.
Environment. It's calling
3.3 million views 2 months ago, 228,000 likes. Content Cop 1 day ago, 4.5 million, 296,000 likes. If anything, the dislike extension people are encouraging more people to like the video with their propaganda, increasing engagement, boosting it in the algorithm. 95,000 comments versus only 77. You guys have successfully made this video even more popular, even more engaging. And all that's gonna happen, folks, is the people in this video are going to get even more of a boost. There are only 18K people using that extension? Wait, in the world? How do you know that? So at the end of the day, this has been a complete and utter defeat for Ethan Klein. These are not real. It is made up. And so you have these and by the way, every creator knows this. Every creator telling you that there's like a dislike bombing, like, oh man, the dislike ratio is crazy, is either profoundly incompetent and stupid and doesn't even know the basic facts about YouTube, and I'm not even a YouTuber, I'm a Twitch streamer, or they are a liar. There's 18K reviews, yeah. There's 6 billion viewers. How many people do you think you use YouTube? There are billions of people using YouTube. So you have the dislike extension percentage is like a microscopic fraction of the total number of users. And these videos go to all the users. Again, lying is OP, but you know what's even more OP? The truth. So Ethan Klein, you've been content copped. Imagine being such a hateful loser that you need to download an extension to see a fake number to help you cope with the fact your ideology is garbage. Yeah, well, they need to cope with the fact that they have to cope with the fact that Ethan Klein has been content copped. Ethan Klein has been smashed. And there's one more way to measure whether something is popular or not. And that's to look at Social Blade. I don't know why this thing fails. I don't know why it failed. I went right to it. Subscribers dropped another 10K over the last week. 20K. This is H3's podcast. Let's just take a look at iDubbbz. iDubbbz gained 10K over the last week. Since they posted this video, they gained 10K subscribers, arresting a decline that they were suffering. Whereas with Ethan Klein, Ethan declined. It's just getting worse. Oof. Oof. Ah. Yikes. And the other thing is, this is the H3 podcast. We should compare with the video where the content nuke is at. Down 50K. So in every possible objective metric, H3 has been hurt by the content nuke, and by every objective measurement, iDubbbz content cop has been an overwhelming, career-reviving success. I think, honestly, if I were iDubbbz, I would take Dark Woke and I would start content copying every single white right-wing creator, Asmongold, Destiny. I would go down the line with every right-wing creator and just give them the content cop business. We are in an era of dark woke, and that is the world that we need. That's what my advice would be. And the next time I talk to him, I will tell him that. I will say, it's time to be. He should do it. He should do a content cop of Destiny and bring me in there. That would be funny. Wake up, Destiny. And Denims can come back, and we'll just do the exact same thing. Wake up, Destiny. We'll just have the exact same people. Wake up, Destiny. One thing I loved about the content cop was Idos was saying something along of us left. Well, I mean, I just think that part of the reason that the left has not been as successful as it should be online is we need more mean people like myself. You know, a lot of leftists, you know, people hate me for this, by the way. People treat me like shit because I say this, by the way. People want me to be like, don't be ableist against Ethan. Oh, guys, we shouldn't do this. Meanwhile, people are calling me all sorts of names, left and right? And going like, I don't know, he's a white man. And, you know, fuck that shit. We need more people that are a little bit meaner to our enemies and not always doing this hug box bullshit. We need a little bit more mean people. We need a little bit less of this hall monitor, rad lib bullshit, identity politics crap. And I think iDubbbz is exactly the type of guy we need. I'm not saying he shouldn't continue his growth.
Marcala, entonces.
He should be a good person. But you could still be ready to stand up for yourself and stand up for what's right. And I think a lot of people wrongfully perceive the left as pushovers, when we are the side of revolution. The left is actually the side of toughness and solidarity and fighting for what you believe in against impossible odds and winning. That's the reality I want to live in. That is the future I see for us. And we need more teeth. It doesn't mean we need to be scumbags, right? It doesn't mean we need to be dishonest. It doesn't mean we need to be racist or sexist or any of all that shit. But we need to stand up to these motherfuckers and expose them, just like he did. And quite frankly, I don't like Ethan Klein, but he's not nearly as bad as some of the other people that need content copped. Like, he's bad. Like, he's become a really pathetic loser, and he sucks. And his position on Israel-Palestine is pathetic. But compared to some of the other people that we need content cop, he's nothing. Thank you so much, Graham She's Homegirl, for the 25 gifties. How do we get AOC and Bernie to be meaner like you? I mean, they are, though. They really are, though. What do you think calling out oligarchy is about? It's about calling these fucking corporate Dems out. And that's what we need. There's a lot to farm there. Right-wing content guys are literally pretty easy. Like, can you imagine if he did a content cop of Think Before You Speak? Or a content cop of Rev Says Desu? Or a content cop of that other fucking anime right-winger guy? Or a content cop of, like, give me a break. There's so many of these people are so Grums. A content cop of Grums? Like, it is a target-rich environment. And I understand the desire to be this elevated human being and be a kind person. And honestly, I kind of like the idea of reaching out to these people and their audiences, even if they slap away your hand, right? You can still take the high road while also giving these people the fucking... In fact, shooting from the high ground is advantageous. You want the high ground. You want the high road. You want to be shooting down on your enemy. Okay? Let them mire in the muck. Let them mire in the pit. And we'll be at the commanding heights shooting down on them, raining fire on them. You don't have to give up the high ground. In fact, the high ground is an advantage. What we don't want is you riding a high horse. And look at, you know, you're so right, petty time. When was the right wing on the back heels during the last election? It's when Tim Walz came out and said, these guys are fucking weird. That fired everybody up. We need that energy. We need that energy. And the one thing I will say about Ethan, the one thing that is truer than true about iDub is that iDubbbz, he's in a long-term relationship, he's in shape, he fights. He is a great representative of exactly the type of energy we need. In so many ways, I look up to a lot of what iDubbbz has been able to do. And I need to, honestly, in my own life, I need to, engage in that kind of behavior. I need to get to the gym like he does. I need, it takes a lot of, he fought a lot of really tough guys in Content Cop. Like, that took a lot of balls. He didn't give himself easy fights. He gave himself guys that were tougher and stronger and better fighters. It's fucking crazy. If I was running a boxing, thing, I wouldn't do that. I would try to fight people I hate. I'd be like, hey, Nick. What's that one Nick guy? I would fight that Nick guy. And oh my God, train. Oh my God, if I see, as I've said, the Oreo guy, yeah. What I was saying, like, if I were to do something like this, like, if I were to ever, like, I don't want to box. I boxed when I was younger. When I was 18, I boxed. I was in exquisite shape. I would run 10 miles. And I would, and the thing about boxing is I was, like, light as fuck. What was I? What was my weight class? I was like a... Look it up. I want to say I was a lightweight. Yeah, no, I was a super lightweight. Somewhere around that. Lightweight, super lightweight. Maybe a welterweight sometime. I was in that range. So, Mike, you got your start with simple stuff first, like setting up your camera. It's so true. What I'm trying to say, though, is if I was boxing, I would 100% be there to hurt the opponent. I wouldn't be there to fight in some sort of, like, honorable combat for content. It would be there to fight someone I hate so I could hurt them. That would be my plan. That would be my style. What position did I play at hockey? I was a winger. If you lost, that'd be really tough, though. The only way I would lose is from DQ. Saying again, the only way I would lose a fight that I agreed to would be from DQ. I would pull a fucking Mike Tyson. I would bite an ear off. I would headbutt. I would drop an elbow on his forearm. I mean, there's no fucking way I would allow anybody I would fight to walk out clean. All right, like, and beat me. If I was being out-punched, I would cheat. Like, so, that's the thing about me doing those things. I wouldn't do those. I would be a villain. I would step on their instep. You know what I mean? Like, every dirty thing you could do in boxing, I would do if I felt like I was behind. So don't, you know, I would be gooning it up. I would be the most hated boxer. Unless I was beating the shit out of them, in which case I would just take the win. Anyway, what were we gonna say? Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, LOL, legendary and easily confirmed. Mike, did you see the Hansons play exhibitions games?
Come on here, son. Look at this guy. Christ. Wow, nice wheels, boy.
Hey, you mean to my friend? They're his gay brothers. What, you never seen figure skates before?
We love hockey, don't we, folks? Howdy.
I know what you sweethearts are all laughing at. 1-9 last time I checked, so shut the f*** up and let this guy have his shot, all right?
Coach, you're not actually going to let this guy join the team. You're not joining the fucking mousecapades, right, buddy?
You're not trying out for the escapades.
Spit it out. You're a big boy. Use your big boy words.
I love hockey. Oh man, the amount of brain damage I've gotten from that game.
Hola. ¿Me oyes? Sí, sí, te funcionó bien el ticket.
That's my whitest feature, chat.
Sí, no, tranquilo. Cuando acabe la montaña de estés tranquilo, me escribes.
My whitest feature is loving hockey. Off topic, but gamers about to act up. Pre-orders for the Switch 2 will begin on Thursday, April 24th, 2025. At launch, the price for the Nintendo 2 Switch in the US will remain as announced at April 2nd at $449.99, and the Nintendo Switch 2 Plus Mario Kart World Bundle will remain at $499.99. Pricing for both physical and digital versions of Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong will also remain unchanged at launch. However, Nintendo Switch 2 accessories will experience price adjustments from these announced on April 2nd due to the changes in market conditions. Other adjustments to the price of any Nintendo product are also possible in the future depending on market conditions. So the only way to get Mario Kart World for $50 is if you buy the bundle. These motherfuckers. These motherfuckers.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. This is Democracy Now!,
Oh yeah. The Israelis killed a Cannes winner, which is a film festival. She won with her film on Gaza, and she was killed by a targeted Israeli strike the next day. This is absolutely one of the most evil pieces of shit moves ever done in the history of this fucking planet. Let's watch this, because we just have to cover this story. It's really gross.
democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Fatma Hassona. was a 25-year-old photographer and artist from Gaza who documented the devastating impacts on Israel's war on Gaza. She's also the subject of a new documentary called Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk. On Wednesday morning, Fatima was killed, along with at least 9 members of her family, in an Israeli airstrike on her home in northern Gaza. Fatima was killed a day after the documentary was accepted at the Cannes Film Festival. This is part of the trailer of the film.
Where are you now?
This is my neighborhood. No one lives here or there or there. There's no one.
When the war started on October 7th, I was traveling around the world, presenting my last film that talks about a war I've personally experienced as a teenager in Iran. I decided to go to Cairo.
Oh, she didn't win yet? She was selected to appear at the festival? Oh, okay. Thank you for
to
correcting
cross
her.
through Rafah, but I couldn't because all the roads to Gaza were blocked. Instead...
Yeah, okay. Cannes selects film on Gaza photographer Fatma Hassouna. A day later, she's killed in an Israeli strike. So yeah, they selected her film to be at Cannes, and then they killed her the next day.
I started filming Palestinian refugees who were just arriving from Gaza. Through one of them, I came to know Fatem.
I'm a photographer.
Yes, I saw your photos. Meeting her was like a mirror held in front of me that made me realize how much both our lives are conditioned by walls and wars.
Part of the trailer of the new documentary, Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk. We're joined now by the film's director, Sepida Farsi, award-winning Iranian filmmaker who's speaking to us from Paris. Sepida, welcome to Democracy Now! Our deepest condolences on the death of Fatima Hassouna, who you were introducing the world to even further in this new documentary. Can you tell us who she was, what she did, and how she died?
Hi, Amy. I'm so devastated. It's really hard to... I can't believe she's gone. I don't know how to talk. I met her a year ago, as you heard in the trailer. Sorry. And
take your time. I know how unbelievably, horrifyingly difficult this is. As I watched your documentary, I mean, the time you have spent with her on over Zoom, trying to talk, reconnect, the fear every single time you reached out to her that this might be the last conversation is just, that is the feeling you have throughout this documentary is, will Sepida reach her again? And what an unbelievably radiant smile, Fatima, in describing the most difficult situations that her family was in and the number of people that have died around her. That is what infuses the entire documentary.
yes, she was exactly as you described her, Amy, a solar person, radiating, very brave, resilient, young also, hopeful, sometimes in despair, but generally very strong, optimistic, and very with huge integrity. When I, of course, throughout that year, it was a year of connections on and off, and very often, as much as we could. Many times I feared for her life. Every day I wrote to her if she couldn't connect, at least we would exchange some text and audio messages and photos, anything we could. And most of the time we would connect to talk, and I would film video calls. And yes, every day and every night I feared for her life. And somehow by the end of this period, and when the selection was announced and I had started I told her 2 days ago, just a day before she left us, she was killed, that the film was selected. She was immensely glad. I said, do you accept to come? She said yes, on the condition that I go back to Gaza afterwards. I want to be there. The Israeli occupation wants us to leave. I do not want to leave. I will keep my land and my house like the other Palestinians. But we were trying to get her out, at least for the film's presentation. And a day after I just learned the news, I can't believe it. I can't tell you how devastated I am. And we lost a great person.
Khan put out a statement. Is it pronounced Assad, the Assad team?
Yes.
That said about Fatma Hasuna after she was killed, her smile was as magical as her tenacity, bearing witness, photographing Gaza, distributing food despite the bombs, mourning, and hunger. We heard her story, rejoiced at each of her appearances to see her alive. We feared for her, they said. So if you can tell us how she came to pick up her camera, and one of the just so poignant through this documentary is we meet one by one, even your surprise, in meeting her family members who happen to be in the space she's in, wherever she manages to connect to.
Isn't this so fucking disgusting? Isn't this so disgusting that this is the way our society is now operating? It's supporting a genocidal state that just exterminates everyone. And everybody knows it too. It's kind of making me reflect on what I thought I knew about World War II and Nazi Germany. For the longest time, I always bought the liberal lie that most Germans didn't really know what was going on. But now that I live in this world where there's a genocide going on, I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly. Everybody knows what's going on. No one is confused. It's just some people don't care. Some people really like it. And the vast majority of us are against it, but we're powerless to stop it through the traditional means of having our voices heard. And we're all faced with the reality of we're being ignored. And the people we thought were there to represent us are ignoring it or absolutely participating in it. And we have to ask ourselves, what do we do to stop it? And when I say powerless, I mean powerless in the sense of going through the system and operating as we're supposed to operate, right? Protesting, calling our representatives, running for political office, voting. None of that works. Both parties were the parties of genocide. The major corporations are united in it, profiting from it. The system itself is locked into this policy, and you and I, even though the vast majority of people don't support this shit, we're locked in.
We meet her brother. We meet her dad. We look at them looking at you, who has uncovered a woman speaking to her in Paris or wherever you are. But she, all her life, has only been in Gaza.
Yes, exactly. This was a big thing for me also, and for her. I shared it with her in the sense that I had many moments of doubt, of feeling guilty, of doubting whether or not I should exchange and share with her all of my travels and my adventures, or what I was up to. And at some point I thought that it was my way of contributing to giving her something she didn't know yet, because she never had a chance to be out of Gaza. The first time we met, she was telling me, oh, you're from Iran. One of the cities I would love to see is Tehran. And I told her, I cannot go back to Tehran myself. And she's like, why? I said, because of political reasons. It was such an absurdity to her. She couldn't even imagine how other people than Palestinians could be locked out of their country, whereas these people are locked in their country and cannot go out. I mean, it was such a contrast between what I was living and she was living, and we put up the whole film and our relationship around this discrepancy of our experiences, and I think that was one of the points that it was very rich in our exchanges, that I do not believe in God and she did, and I am in exile and she was stuck in her country, and so it was even more, moving, I think, for me, and I believe for her as well. She the first time I told her, you're so young.
At this point, Israel is not even trying to hide what they're doing, call it what it is. It was a hit, an assassination. No, it's a genocide. Part of what you do when you do a genocide is you destroy the art, the culture, the intellectuals, anything that makes a nationality distinctive. You target that for destruction. You destroy hospitals so that you can increase the death. Right? You make the land unlivable so you could displace the people. They are intentionally destroying her because she is a representative of Palestinians and world culture. Israel's goal is to kill them all. And they're never going to stop.
Young, you're my daughter's age. I said, oh, you could be my mother. You know, it's like, and she was so spontaneous, so generous, and so systematic in her documenting the genocide also, and in her vision of what they were going through. Such a clarity, despite her young age, or because of her young age, I don't know, maybe.
We're showing her photographs, by the way, as we talk to you. I want to ask you how you met, but can you tell us how she died first this week?
I still keep asking myself the question whether there was a link between the film selection in Cannes and a day later, just a day later, her house being hit. Well, the house was hit by a bomb. People say it was targeted. I do believe that it could be the case, given the high number of the journalists and photographers in Gaza who've been killed by the Israeli army. So I think this one time it could be one of these cases. Of course, I do not know more than that. I would love an investigation to be done to find out, because she was so dear to me and to many of us. But the fact is that the bomb was launched on our house, and the whole house was destroyed. She and 9 other members of her family.
Oh, Chad, that reminds me. We are 4 hours into the stream, and I have to do my one mandatory thing, some announcement that I wanted to tell you guys. I think I want to stream tomorrow and probably Sunday as well. So make sure, if you've been looking for someone to watch, on Saturday and Sunday, I am committing to doing more streams this weekend. Maybe we could chill and watch some videos. Maybe we can laugh at more chuds. I feel like I got behind on politics this week because of so much Ethan Klein shit. And I'm not saying I won't talk about Ethan Klein. I will continue to make fun of Ethan Klein forever. But I make sure that you're following and you're ready for tomorrow. We're going to do some more streaming at the usual time. So, yeah, we're definitely going to be streaming this weekend. Oh, Hassan is in Coachella anyway? He might take the day off too? Oh, okay, great. We'll do even more streaming. Is the Insurrection Act on April 20th a thing, or TikTok rumors? I don't think there's any evidence to believe it, but Donald Trump is a fascist, so there's nothing that he could do that would surprise me at this point. We will be here at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and we may, if Hassan never comes on, I might stream for like 12 hours, all right? Because I watch Hassan. So if there's no Hassan, why am I getting off? I'm going to keep going. So we're going to have some nice long streams over the weekend. I think I'm going to make it a regular thing. I don't know why I stopped streaming in the morning on the weekend. I think it was a little bit of, maybe taking some time off. But when I reflect over this, these years, I realize that a lot of the time on the weekend, I would just wake up and do a lot of the same shit anyway. So I might as well just go live. You know what I mean? So, yeah, let's make sure you hit that follow button. We're gonna work more Saturdays and Sundays. If I'm really tired.
Ya fue.
If I'm really